What's going on, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Dev and the Bear. It's been a while. Good to be back. Sitting across from the lovely Dev.
Hi.
Look at him.
How's it going?
So cute. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about UFC 288. It's going to be Henry Cejudo taking on Aljamain Sterling. I guess I should have said that the other way around, but whatever.
Who cares? No, I'm just kidding.
We're going to mostly focus on the co-main event and the main event today. But that prelim card, I urge you to watch that prelim card. That is going to be a very good fight card.
It's free.
Yeah, it's going to be the free fights for the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Before the pay-per-view. So definitely watch them. The main event's going to be really, really fun or really, really fast, but a highlight.
For somebody.
Someone. It's going to be really good. It's Drew Dober and Matt Frivola. It's going to be a really good fight. And a lot of other fighters on the card that are going to be really good. But we're going to start with Belal Muhammad and Gilbert Burns.
Yeah, I'm Team Gilbert.
And I'm very much Team Belal, as I have always been.
Yeah.
And you have always been with Gilbert Burns. That's
except so I didn't really like care for Gilbert Burns too much.
So you're a bandwagoner.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not gonna lie. So him getting the title shot leading up, I liked him. But when he fought Usman, I was like, man, I'm going for Kamaru. I think Kamaru was gonna win, and he did. But it's really so after Gilbert, he had stayed pretty active, and he came back. But when he fought Stephen Thompson, he fought really dirty in that fight, and I couldn't stand it. I was annoyed with that. Because it's just how are you going to fight dirty against Stephen Thompson, out of the nicest guy in the division. And so, but I think with Gilbert, since then though, he's maintained his spot in the top. When you look at the welterweight division, he's stayed in the top 5 for a reason. Belal has got there finally. And Belal showed he deserves a top 5 position with his win over Sean Brady. But I feel like with Gilbert, he's defended his reason why as well to be in the top 5. I think the way that he's done it has been more dominant than somebody like Belal Muhammad in the top 5.
How?
So he beat Neil Magny, he beat Jorge Masvidal, and he beat Stephen Thompson.
Okay, so I think a lot of people, I don't agree with this, I'm just saying objectively, a lot of people would see Stephen Thompson as washed up. So he's more of a gatekeeper for the top 5. I can understand that. I'll give him that. Neil Magny, has he ever been top 5?
I think he's, let me see. Neil Magny is number 11 right now. And so, I don't know. I just feel like with Gilbert though, he's been able to prove I think he's been able to show that he's still a top contender in that division more than Belal has.
I agree that he's been able to do it, not more than Belal.
Yeah,
I don't see how it's more than Belal.
Yeah,
you could. I would let you get away with saying as much, but more than Belal.
Yeah, I think so.
Belal also beat Stephen Thompson, and he beat a Vicente Luque who was very relevant. Neil Magny's not relevant to a title
the
at all.
Vicente Luque fight, I will give you that though for sure. The Vicente Luque fight was the one that made me say, "Damn, this guy is actually really fucking good," and he actually was coming into his own. His own style at that time, into who he is as a fighter. That got to that. That's his best performance to date.
I do agree that that's his best performance. But what I will say is that I don't think that I think he's been there.
Yeah.
I think he's been in who he is as a fighter. He just hasn't had to show it. And with the Vicente Luque, who Luque is, you have to be able to show up, because he's good on the feet and he's good on the ground. So Belal mixed it up, and I think he beat him everywhere that fight went.
Yeah, and so with I know he said he hasn't been able to show who he really is until the Vicente Luque fight, but Gilbert Burns, every time he goes out there, he's able to show that he is who he is. We see the best version of him every single time we step in there. There's no warming up.
It's better than the one before.
What's that? What
do you mean? His performance.
I'm just saying, every time you see Gilbert Burns show up, he always looks good.
So he can't get any better.
I mean, he can, I guess. Yeah, he's a fighter. I mean, he can improve.
So he's better than he was before.
I would say so. He's improving. Fight. He's improving each fight.
So is Belal. I think Belal's improving each fight. What I'm saying is, GSP talks about this too. He says, even though a lot of people see me as the best of the best, I never got to be how good I could have been because there are so many things that I never had to use.
Right.
And he's like, and I feel like it's like a poker game. You don't show your hand, and I had all these cards that I never had a chance to play because I never needed to.
Right.
And I feel like Belal's just doing that. I'm not saying he's as good as GSP.
Yeah.
But
so
I'm just saying
he was mid on purpose.
Not mid on purpose.
I'm just kidding, but
I think his grappling was enough to get him there.
Yeah.
And now he's like, okay, well, now I can stand and strike with people if I need to.
Yeah.
And he did that against
Sean Brady.
The next up and comer, making sure he stays active as well.
Yeah.
He's fighting people who are beneath him.
Yeah.
Gilbert Burns is kind of doing that when he fought Masvidal, I guess.
And he fought not Jeff Neal, fucking Neil Magny.
Neil Magny?
Yeah.
So Neil Magny is irrelevant, is what you're saying.
Mm-mm. He was coming up. He was inside the top 10.
How long has Neil Magny been coming up? I'm just playing devil's advocate. I like Neil Magny.
But,
I enjoy him. I think he's as good as Stephen Thompson.
When they fought, he was still in the top 10 whenever they fought. So it was more of him having to defend his position, which we need to see more of with more divisions. Is defending his position just like Belal did. But I think when it comes down to it, like with Gilbert's performances, with his wins since losing to Kamaru Usman for the title, that he has shown that he's still a contender.
He also lost to.
He did lose to Hamzat. Yeah.
And Belal hasn't lost since 2019.
So yeah, there is that. It's a good point to bring up though. Is Belal hasn't lost and he hasn't fought for the title yet.
And what's funny is we've been talking this long and people probably don't care.
You should care though.
But we haven't even started talking about the fight yet. Yeah. We're just talking about who deserves to be looked at better. I don't even know what we're talking about, but
it's like for me, it's like I think Gilbert, what he has shown in the cage and how he's came back, even though he's gone 2-3 in his last 5. Belal's gone 5 straight in his last 5, right? So but I think Gilbert has shown,
I would say 5 straight since a no contest.
Yeah,
not a loss. A no contest.
He was losing, but it wasn't.
He was losing, but that doesn't matter.
No, I'm just kidding.
You can try to point it out all you want, but it doesn't matter.
We'll
never know. He could have won. You never know.
No, he wasn't gonna win.
You can say he wasn't gonna, but we never know. We'll never know.
I feel like
how many people have won fights at the end that they were losing?
I don't think Belal was going to be that case.
Okay, well, you can think that all you want, but we'll never know. You can never know, is my point.
I feel like you're like, you see what I'm saying, but you're like...
No, I get what you're saying. Because at the time, I was really torn with that fight because I love Leon Edwards and he deserved to be champ. He's going through what Belal's going through now.
Yeah.
Or he went through what Belal is going through now. Which is just constantly winning and never being given anything and still having to fight whoever they offer him. Just otherwise he's not going to get offered a fight. Leon was winning that fight and he's a slow starter. So I do think Leon was going to win that fight, but we'll never know.
You think they're Dana White sending Gilbert in there? Like, please take this dude out so I don't got to deal with it.
Possibly. Maybe they're talking to Gilbert and they're like, look, you're not going to get a title because you fought Hamzat. He's the next guy.
Yeah.
So you can't beat him, even though he very well could.
Yeah.
Maybe they're like, go ahead and fight Belal, beat him, take care of him for us, and we might throw you a title shot.
Yeah.
We're giving Colby a title shot, so obviously we don't care.
Yeah, and the whole Colby situation is a completely different thing. But I feel like the winner of this fight should be getting the next title shot. It shouldn't be Colby.
I think, yes, 100%. There's no reason Colby should be getting a title shot over these two, or they should fight Colby for a title shot. I would kind of understand that. I don't think Colby should be talked about with a title shot right now.
Yeah.
I think the implications of this fight should be applied to Colby.
Yeah.
Like, for his next fight.
Yeah, because the last time he beat somebody coming off of a win, it was RDA back in like 2019.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a pandemic at the time.
Pre-COVID.
Donald Trump was still president last time he beat somebody coming off of a win.
Yeah. So
this
is the two fighters in the co-main event. So now we can talk about the fight itself.
Yeah, so we're talking about
which I'm sure we're losing a lot of people here. They probably don't care.
I'm telling you, man, they should
Let
care
us
though.
know.
Like, this is a good fight.
Let us know who you're rooting for right now. Go comment. If you're listening to this on YouTube, go comment. Let us know who you're rooting for. And then if we convinced you or changed your mind, let us know that as well.
Yeah, I'm just saying Gilbert should be getting that next title shot. But So the fight though, I think this is a really, really hard fight for Gilbert. Because he's coming in this fight. Oh, both of them are coming on short notice.
Yeah.
Belal wanted this fight at a catchweight. Gilbert was like, no, like if we're gonna fight for the number one contendership, then why are we gonna fight at a different weight? You know, if we were fighting for the 170-pound title, we need to weigh 170 pounds. You're not my friend. I'm not making a deal with you. Which I get where Gilbert's coming from at the same time, though. You know, it's like, you know,
I'll say this. I understand why Belal is saying that because he has to get ready.
Yeah.
Gilbert was already on track to be ready because he just went through a camp. He just had a fight. He just came off of that fight, and they were like, "Hey, you want to fight Belal?" Belal has to completely do everything from scratch. I'm sure he wasn't sitting at home. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But he can't. He's not having just finished a weight cut.
Yeah.
So he's not even close to being the weight he needs to be for it, potentially.
And it's also going to be 5 rounds, too.
Yeah.
So that could either be...
Oh, wait, I didn't know that. I said yeah as if I did know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's going to be a 5-round fight. And I feel like, I don't know, Gilbert pushed for a 5-round fight because he was like, this dude wants to fight for the belt, though. Let's see him in a 5-round fight. And, which I get where he's coming from, too. But also, though, like, Gilbert hasn't fought a wrestler, like, in his past few fights. Like, his past few wins have been against... Neil Magny, which I don't even know what kind of fighter Neil Magny really is. You know, is he jiu-jitsu guy? Is he stand-up guy?
He's
you know?
he's just a very balanced fighter, I think.
He fought Gilbert Masvidal, who is a boxer, and before that, then he fought Hazmat. You know, but he hasn't fought anybody who pushes the pace like Sean Brady at all.
And
you know?
I want to say that he fought Hamzat, and not that he didn't look good, but as far as like Hamzat's wrestling, he was able to kind of throw Gilbert around, and mostly because
Gilbert was
kind
of okay with it at the same time though too. You know,
yeah, because he's all right with being in those situations. Yeah, but obviously it didn't work out because that kind of wrestling just is a bit too much, and I think Belal can bring that same kind of wrestling, maybe not the same kind of power and aggression, but he'll bring that same kind of style and just the IQ of wrestling that he'll bring to it is going to be enough, I think, to beat Gilbert Burns.
Yeah, Gilbert's coming in also the short notice fight, just got off of a fight and has to completely be ready for a fighter with the pace and the strength that Belal comes in with, you know, because I'm sure Bilal's more than happy to go to the ground either way. You know, I don't think he's going to be scared to go to the ground with Gilbert Burns. He has really, really good wrestling. When it comes to the hands, though, he has more traditional boxing than Gilbert does, though, too. Gilbert throws a lot of overhands and a lot of hooks.
Yeah, they're usually very looping.
Yeah. And so...
But they work.
They work very well.
He hits very hard.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, he dropped Masvidal, one time each round when they fought? And so, I think when it comes to the fight, though, I think, what's his name? I think, fucking... What was his name?
Yep.
Muhammad.
Oh, Belal.
Yeah, Belal. It's funny because his nicknames remember the name.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember his name.
Hilarious.
Yeah. This is comedy over here. There's the jokes y'all ask for. But yeah, man. So I just think with Belal's, like, the way he fights, he's going to fight exactly what he knows. And his instinctual fights is something that I don't think Gilbert has had enough time to prepare for, you know? And so...
well, in the same sense, Belal isn't going to be as prepared for someone like Gilbert because it's also short notice. But I think the way that they are and how experienced they are, they'll be okay. And that, I mean, they wouldn't take the fight if they weren't ready for it or didn't think they were capable.
Yeah, and I think both of them believe they're capable of beating each other. You know, so I mean, it's something that I'm looking forward to. I think I don't know, man. I can't pick Belal. I just gave a whole fucking spiel as to why he shouldn't get the next title shot.
Yeah, you can't pick him. Yeah. You already muddied those waters. You already burnt that bridge.
I think Gilbert's gonna choke him out, dude. I'm just kidding. I don't think that happens. But
it's hard because if even though I believe Belal is going to win, I have been behind Belal almost his whole career. It's been a long time, man, that I've been a fan of him, and everyone freaking hates him because he's boring. What are you talking about, man? Anyway, he's good.
His past few fights weren't boring at all.
No, and even when he's wrestling, he's wrestling.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, go watch kickboxing.
Did you watch his fight against Damian Maia?
Yeah, but how many times do we see Damian Maia in fights like that?
Yeah.
Damian Maia brings on fights like that because of who he is.
Yeah.
Anderson Silva. That's all I'm gonna say.
Damian Mai's had a lot of boring ass fights, dude.
Yeah, and it's because people are so afraid to initiate anything with him.
Just gotta give him the fucking little oil check. Get him with the dipstick. Guarantee he's not gonna put you in triangle anymore.
No.
You know.
Anyway,
I'm just saying. Dude,
but yeah, me saying just because I believe that Belal's gonna win, it's still hard to say Gilbert can't go in there and choke out Belal.
Yeah.
I think Gilbert can go in there and choke out anybody.
Yeah.
Because he's that good at it. But I also think Belal can go in there and smother and outwork anybody because he's that good at what he does.
Yeah. Well, if Belal loses, I think this is his only chance for a title shot. Like, cause they're
very possible.
Yeah.
Look at how hard they were. Look at how much he's had to do, and he's still not even being a title shot. Yeah. Yeah. So I would agree to that because if he loses this, I'm sure they're gonna be like, oh well, you know.
Cool. Give him Shavkat.
We tried with you.
You know, it's like give him Shavkat. But sure, they were already talking about giving him Shavkat in the first place, and it's like he's already. I didn't agree with that either because it's like he's already proved he should be in the top 5. Why has he got to prove it again? Because y'all don't want to give him the fucking title shot.
Because he just did that with Sean Brady.
Yeah.
He just proved that I am the veteran. I'm the better fighter. He does it time and time again, and then every single time they just try to get someone to lose. Every time that he matches up with someone that he should be fighting, it's in the context of one of you needs to lose, and it's like or just give him a title shot.
Or it's like Benil Dariush, like people like
same thing. They won't give it to him.
Some bullshit.
But yeah, it's hard to say that I think that Gilbert couldn't go in there and win it just as easily as I think Belal could go in there and win it. But I think the style of Belal, the IQ of Belal is what's going to win him the fight. He's going to be able to last until those later rounds, and Gilbert can't. Or I won't say can't, but he won't, I don't think, under the pressure and the style that he has himself, and as well as the style that Belal will bring. I don't think that it's a fight Gilbert can fight for 5 rounds, but Belal can.
Yeah.
And I think he'll either win by decision or a late 4th, 5th round finish.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, I'm going to go Gilbert first round knockout because my actual prediction I'd rather not say, but we're just going to keep it there. No, I think.
Well, now you gotta say it. It's too late.
I think it's gonna be a fucking like a really drawn out, boring ass fight with Belal just controlling him the whole time.
Yeah.
Like I think that's what's gonna go down. Is Belal's gonna stick to what he knows, and wrestling is a good neutralizer for jiu-jitsu, regardless of what you think or what you say. Wrestling, as long as you do not give up your back, because the wrestling that Belal is very, very good and gives up their back a lot, but he doesn't put himself in positions to get his back taken, a lot, And so I think Belal is gonna just try to grind him out, and Gilbert's not gonna have an answer for it. I mean, we've seen it with these jiu-jitsu guys now. Is these heavy jiu-jitsu guys, jiu-jitsu heavy guys? I guess is that right? To say that it's just when it comes down to when they go against a wrestler, and they're standing there like they're able just to kind of do whatever they want. Like what the wrestler is like. It's gonna be on the feet or it's gonna clinch up against the fence. They're not used to that kind of pace.
Yeah,
and so
I think if it is on the feet, the longer it's on the feet in the first couple of rounds, the more it's gonna lean in the favor of Gilbert. I think. Yeah, he's just more active with his punches than Belal is. Belal is methodical, but he's not as active, and he doesn't land. I won't say he doesn't land as often as Gilbert does, because that Gilbert throws so much, and he throws them kind of wide, so he may miss a lot. But when he does land, it matters. With Belal, he's just setting you up. He's just keeping you in check the whole time.
I feel like Belal's a little chinny too. Like when he gets clipped a little bit, his eyes roll a little bit off a punch.
I don't know. So
you ever seen it? Like in the Sean Brady fight, it was actually a competitive fight until Belal turned up the pace on him.
I don't know. With me, it's like unless they're getting knocked out. If they get rocked a lot, well, you're getting punched in the face. You need to stand a little differently if that's the case.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's our predictions though.
Yep.
You're saying, are you sticking with Gilbert?
I'm gonna have no fucking choice, dude. Just went on a 20-minute tangent about why I think Gilbert's cooler.
Just because of the name, huh?
Yeah. We gotta stick with my boys for that shit, man. So main event time, we got Aljamain Sterling taking on the returning Triple C, Henry Cejudo. I fucking hate all of his nicknames.
Yeah, I don't like everything that Henry has. How do I want to word this? I don't like anything, any of Henry Cejudo's image.
Like, if we were to take that out of context, you sound like the biggest fucking hater. Like,
I Love Henry. I love watching Henry Cejudo fight. I love watching him talk about fighting, listening to him talk about fighting. I don't like his character. I don't like the image he came up with. The whole cringe thing is so stupid. The triple C, whatever, dude. You're a great fighter. You're so smart. You have such a high IQ for fighting. Your wrestling is so good that your boxing has improved because of it. That doesn't happen often.
He is really solid Muay Thai.
He's a very good fighter. I think if it's just ends up becoming a fight with a bunch of wrestling, he takes it.
You think so?
I think he absolutely takes it because Olympic wrestling is different than just being a good wrestler.
Yeah, we said the same thing with John Jones in DC, though. You know,
John Jones is different. John Jones is always going to be different.
Yeah, well, Aljamain used to train with John Jones. They came up together.
You know, a lot of people used to train with GSP. We can name them.
Roy McDonald, he was the shit. He was good. But
didn't make it.
I think
didn't make it nearly as far as DC or John Jones did.
Right. But now we're
Clay Guida used to train with
now
GSP.
We're talking legacies.
Cowboy used to train with GSP.
Yeah. Now we're talking legacies, so it's a whole different thing. But
what my point is, just because you trained with someone doesn't mean much.
I think I think like it goes like look at like somebody like Brock. You know, like Brock, his wrestling never made it to past the NCAA, right? And so, but still, like when he like that's what his strong suit was his wrestling, you know. And I do see what you're saying. Like the pedigree of wrestling that Henry Cejudo has is head and shoulders above that whole division. But I also think with Aljamain though, that like with who he is and how he's came into being, he's finally what's the word for it? Like he's just like really taking in that whole backpack role, being the strong, like being a stronger fighter and just holding people down and just grinding them out. And he's coming into that role as a fighter and knowing that, okay, this is how I'm going to be the champ. This is how I'm going to be the best if I do this. Because his stand-up's still kind of okay. Like it's pretty unorthodox. His stand-up's good, but it's not the best. You know, like we saw in the Pitor Yan fight is like when it came to like every other in the last two rounds, like I thought Pitor took those rounds because Aljamain had gotten gassed and he couldn't get him down anymore, you know. And we saw that he's still not really working on his stand. Like I'm sure he's still working on his stand up, but he didn't like work on it since the first time they fought. And Pitor is like got so tired of being on his back that he did nothing to fix his stand up. I mean, fix that he wouldn't let his hands go. But I don't know. I think with where Aljamain's at right now, I think it's gonna be really hard for Cejudo to be able to neutralize the grappling. You know, if he gets in a position to where if Aljamain gets in a dominant position, it's gonna be hard for Cejudo to be able to get out of it. You know, and so I do see a lot of scrambles going on and shit. But if Aljamain's able to get Cejudo stuck in a spot, I don't really see how Cejudo's gonna be able to get out of that. You know.
The probably the way he gets out of anything else.
I don't know. We'll see. Like if if he gets Cejudo's back, like how Cejudo gonna be able to defend that or be like how well is he gonna be in that position?
I think if Sterling gets Cejudo's back, it might take a little bit, but I think we'll see someone who has an answer.
Yeah,
I do think that because I think Cejudo is smart enough and experienced enough, specifically with wrestling, to get Aljamain off his back. And again, it might take a little bit, but once he gets it, I think that's when it starts changing.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it'll come to that super early. And as far as the stand-up, like you were saying, Aljamain's a little unorthodox. Henry's is better, but he has to overcome a whole lot more than Aljamain does to show off his stand-up in this fight just because of the size difference.
Yeah.
The length is crazy. The way that Aljamain fights is very lengthy. And I think Henry's going to struggle with that a lot more than maybe he's expecting. But I think you could use Dominic Cruz as an example. Everyone expected that to be an issue with him against Dominic Cruz, and it was not.
Right.
Sterling's bigger than Dominic Cruz, so it's going to be different. But if it stays on the feet, I think eventually Henry's going to take over. I think that with both sides. Staying on the feet or going to the ground, I think eventually Henry's going to take over. The longer this fight goes on, Henry's going to take over.
Yeah, because Aljamain's, no matter how much he works on his gas tank, his cardio is not as good as he thinks it is.
And it's definitely not as good as Henry's.
No,
Henry's cardio is insane.
Yeah, I remember leading into the TJ Dillashaw fight, he gets in this hyperbolic chamber, and he sits there and he just like pretty much like they slowly take the oxygen out of the air and stuff and have him just rest. And it's what it does is it's pretty much like natural EPO, right? It is like to where his body is now able to recover in high stress situations a lot faster. He's able to get oxygen into his system better. His lungs get used to pretty much like work, like it's like working out, right? You're trying to catch your breath. That's pretty much what these hyperbolic chambers do. And he's just sitting there, and it's crazy shit to watch. It's cool as shit that that's a thing.
They do this in Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, and that's why it looks like a fucking hyperbolic chamber, dude, and it's nuts. And pretty so when like Vegeta's sitting there in the hyperbolic chamber and he's all hooked up to breathing in the machine. That's kind of what you look like without the water. And so it's pretty dope. Look into it.
Are you telling me or are you telling?
No, I'm talking about the Cejudo thing, not the Vegeta thing.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Why don't you say that?
Because I don't know if you're talking to me or you're talking to them.
I'm talking to you.
Is anybody listening?
But yeah,
tick tick tick. Hello.
Anybody out there?
But yeah, I just don't see Aljamain Sterling winning this fight. But similar with Gilbert Burns, am I really gonna sit here and say that someone like Aljamain can't win this fight? No. So anyone who wants to comment and be like, "See, but you feel stupid now. Sterling won in the first round, easy."
Yeah.
Or Sterling controlled him the whole fight, easy. I never said he couldn't.
Oh yeah, because I fucking hate social interactions, like the social media interactions, dude. I made a prediction on somebody's fucking TikTok because we have a TikTok account, surprisingly not very active because everything is fucking flagged. But so I commented on someone's shit like a month ago, and some douchebag like responded to my comment now, and it's like, dude, like nobody knew that fucking Rob Font was gonna knock out Adrian Yanez. Well, I didn't think he was.
Yeah, I think we can. That's why I don't like saying people are chinny. Like because this is MMA. Yeah. You're getting hit. It doesn't take much to get knocked out. Right. If you're standing correctly, it makes it harder. If you have your chin down, if you're waiting for it, if you're guarding correctly, it makes it a lot harder. But you'll always end up in a position where you could easily get knocked out. Even if the other guy can't throw a strike because of what you're doing, you're still standing in a position that could get you knocked out. And it's really hard to not have that happen, just because the second you throw a punch, you're now in a position where you could get countered and get knocked out because it doesn't take much.
Yeah.
So if someone's trying to act like, oh, see, I knew Rob Font was going to knock out Adrian, you could just as easily say Adrian was going to knock out Rob.
Right.
It's that simple. This is MMA. You can't really, you can do your best, but predicting doesn't really work. That's why we do it for fun.
Yeah, I did my best in 150 characters. And that was my prediction. And so, yeah, dude, that guy can eat a dick. But, yeah, man.
What's his username?
I don't know, dude, but we're going to find out his user, IP address, everything. We're going to dox and swat this guy. No, I'm just kidding. But if I could,
anybody got the Pinkertons?
Fucking
Magic the Gathering joke for anyone who knows that. Leave a comment in the comment section.
but
Pinkerton SWAT.
Fucking dude. But with Aljamain though, like I think if Henry is able to completely negate the wrestling and to where Aljamain is forced to stand up with him though, I mean that's gonna. I think that's where Cejudo does his best.
Well, let me ask you this, because this is the second time you've talked about negating or neutralizing. Yeah. Why does Henry have to negate or neutralize Aljamain's wrestling?
Because I don't see Henry shooting in. I don't see him trying to take Aljamain down.
How much you want to bet he does?
Like if the first to shoot.
I'm not saying first. I'm just saying I think Henry shoots. I think he absolutely will shoot for a takedown.
I think if he has to, I wouldn't be surprised if he does shoot, but I don't think he's going to be the one to be the first one to initiate the grappling. You know,
I don't know about being the first, just because you never know what people's game plans are.
Yeah,
Aljamain may want to go in there and be like, I'm going to set the precedent that I'm the wrestler. So he may go in there and touch gloves and shoot for a takedown. He may not touch gloves. He may sprint in there and try to take him down.
Yeah.
And if that's what he does, then I hope Henry gets a flying knee knockout and is like, all right, now I'm retired.
Yeah.
But because that'd be hilarious.
Yeah. Dude, there's a clip of whenever Cejudo won both belts and Dana White's walking in there to put both titles on him, and like Dana White just looks so fucking mad that he just won. Yeah. And I'm like, why do you dislike this guy so fucking much, dude? I think he just hated the antics so much where he's like, I can't stand this fucking guy. And Cejudo doesn't, like, it sucks because he doesn't bring in the bag that they want, you know? And so
I think he will now. I think his time away and all his talking has gotten people to where they want to see him fight, whether it's to lose or win, whatever.
Aljamain's kind of he's not speculating, but he was like, I think it's weird that he was out of the USADA testing pool for 2 years and now is coming back in.
He's in it now. That's all that matters.
Yeah, and so
kind of.
Yeah, he is in it now, so it's better than what McGregor's doing.
But anyway, I think Henry will absolutely initiate the grappling because he's gonna have to set up his striking. Just like his striking is going to have to set up his takedowns. He's going to have to mix it up to win this fight.
Yeah.
Just because of how long Sterling and how I think the difference with Cruz and Sterling obviously is there's a size difference as well, but as opponents. But I think the way that Sterling uses his length with his striking is a little different than with Dominic. Dominic has his hands down a lot. Sterling does too, but not as much. And he comes in differently when he strikes.
Yeah.
So I think Henry Cejudo is going to have to mix it up. He's going to have to get Aljamain to react, but he will initiate the grappling. I don't know if he'll be the first, but I think he will.
I think Aljamain's gonna be the first one to try to initiate that grappling. Try to get his back, pull a Corey Sandhagen, choke,
he might.
Yeah, I don't know. It just also sucks for Aljamain because he doesn't have a actual legitimate people he doesn't have, and I won't say a legitimate run, but he doesn't have a recognized run because of how he got the title. And then he beats fucking Pretorian clean. He beat him clean and then fights TJ, and TJ's shoulder was thrown out within the first 10 seconds. And so it's no one really respects Aljamain at all, with him being a champ. But
yeah,
I don't know.
But yeah, I'm excited for this fight.
I think Cejudo does take it, though.
I hope so, because as much as I like Sterling, he's always going to get crapped on as a champion. So if Cejudo takes it, then that gives Sterling a chance to take it back. And I don't see why he would care what people think of him. But, I don't think no.
Cejudo's not going to rematch him if they fight.
No, I'm just saying, if it gives Sterling a chance to have to go back and get the title back. Yeah. And it gives him another chance to do it in a way that people don't hate on. But again, I don't think it matters to him.
Yeah.
If people hate on him and the way he got the title. But yeah, I think that card's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, it's going to be a good all-around card. It sucks that Bryce Mitchell's out. But if you're watching any of the Embedded series, the first episode, he's doing an ice bath and he has this ointment on his shoulder. And I was like, that doesn't look good. That's a giant bruise on your shoulder, dude. And I was like, that looks really, really bad. Then he pulled out. And I was like, yeah, I kind of expected that to happen.
Yeah, I don't ever watch those.
Yeah.
I used to, I think. But I just don't care about the Embedded or any of that stuff anymore.
I really like the Embedded. I like to watch that shit. And then, but yeah, the BKFC fights were going fun. I ended up watching those. And I enjoyed all of the fights. Everybody threw down. Ben Rothwell and Justin Copeland threw down.
Did you see Luke Rockhold said, he's like, nah, I'm not done yet. I might even still do boxing. Just, some gloves would be nice.
Yeah, he did say that. And when I was watching that, I was like, that was the most anticlimactic fucking fight. And then, but I'm thinking about it, and I see him kind of pointing at his mouth, and I was like, I think he got his teeth punched in.
Yeah,
and
all jacked up.
Yeah, and I know people were talking shit immediately, but I'm like, y'all go in there, get fucking punched like that, dude.
Put a hole in his lip, busted his teeth up.
Fighting
Mike Perry, dude.
He's got to fight 7 more minutes like that, Yeah. And he landed a really good shot on Mike Perry in the first round. He was the first one to initiate. He dropped Mike Perry, and I was like, oh shit. And then Mike Perry went in there and just was like, all right, it's my turn, And he hit a couple, but they were throwing down, dude. I'm just happy Mike Perry's getting the shine that he deserves as a fighter.
This is definitely the environment.
Perfect for him.
He does well in, yeah. They're saying the same thing for Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah.
This is his environment he should have been in the first place. And I don't know, he had a great run in MMA.
And that's what that's why I don't agree with Eddie Alvarez, because he's been a champion everywhere he's gone.
Yeah.
Except for one, But he was champion in the UFC, champion in Bellator, and you look at who he's fought and who he's beat, it's fucking insane. I just think Eddie Alvarez just shows that he's a dog. He's just been able to show that again. Back when people thought he was,
King.
fucking dude. It's like when he fought Justin Gaethje and people were really doubting who he was as a fighter, and if he's willing to take damage. And it's like, yeah, dude, he is. He's more than willing to take as much damage as he can.
Yeah. But that's BKFC.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. KFC, man. They serve it up real good.
Yeah.
Crispy.
11 herbs and spices.
Yeah.
I forgot what their fucking motto is.
Yeah, I haven't had KFC in a long time. I'm a Popeyes guy.
Yeah.
I haven't had Popeyes in a while.
I don't really fuck with Popeyes too much anymore, man. It was fuck my order up.
Especially this one right here, dude.
Dude, this one right here is trash.
It's so bad.
You put they're not even. They have the open sign on, and then you pull over there, and the motherfuckers won't go over there. So I go to Churches because Churches gives me good service.
Churches is great all the time.
Yeah, good service.
Spicy.
Fucking the spicy's the shit, dude. They have all the things you need there, and they have great fucking combos.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that wraps up UFC 288.
Pretty much, dude. Fucking, but I mean, Church's chicken is the shit. It's slept on. It's affordable too.
It's the dark horse, just like Belal.
Yeah.
You got to start jumping on the Churches.
Belal, what was his name? Muhammad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the end.